I've been told by the MC we're running a little late, but I'm taking this opportunity to share 2 live experiences of mine which has made serious social inclusion, empowerment, and employment in villages globally. One, I would say, going directly is sustainable credit, which we did. We selected some microcredit borrowers and gave them an option of borrowing at a higher level. This came up in Kenya, and these women used to spend 6 to 10 hours a day walking and selling their products. So we thought, what would the community need to cut off that time and make them more productive? We offered them loan on motorbikes. In the beginning, they were very scared to take $1,000 loan, for which they survive only in $100. But today, 20,000 women take loan for that, and what has happened out of it in a quick sort of short way is these women, we taught them the skill of riding the motorbike, and they've done about 6 hours of work, but in the meantime, when they don't need the motorbikes, the youth and the children, like people who have the license, drive around the motorbike like a motor taxi now in these villages and allow people who cannot afford that loan to sell their products to get into the market. So we sort of built a business out of nothing. It was a product which we thought might bog them down with a loan, but people who borrowed for 2 years returned them in a year. So seeing that example, many people have come forward with it. And one small inclusive sort of example I'll quickly give was, there was a lady in a village which she was always excluded out of programs, and I became very inquisitive on how to bring her in. And since I don't speak the language in Kenya, I requested people to support me. So when we sat down with her, we saw that she used to brew beer at home and sell and fend for her 6 children. What others didn't try to understand is she knew nothing better when her husband left her with 6 kids. So when the men used to go to her house, the other women used to feel that she's taking her with the men of the village. But when we approached her on how she could support us and build a better society, she said, I've got the money. And today she has given 10 tractors in the same village, and the productivity of agriculture has become 100 times better. And she's hired back the man who left her with 6 kids to drive one of the tractors. So these are examples of inclusive society which our social conception wants to do in San Diego itself. Do we have time for a small Q&A, or would you all want to ask questions to the panel?
I would like to ask a question.
Absolutely. Neville, can you? Yeah, if you.
Chris is going to give the microphone. I have Phil's over first.
There's one here.
Yeah, I can definitely project my voice loud enough.
Chris is going to bring you a microphone.
This one's hot if you need this one.
Okay.
Check. Here we go. We got it. Thanks, Neville.
Okay. I'd just like to introduce myself quickly. My name is David Michael Colon. So the questions that I have is, from what I'm seeing, this summit is really pushing inclusion. So how can we change the media, especially in a city like San Diego, which is almost ripe for a shift in the type of media and the long-term effects that media has on our youth and on our educated individuals? I had it in my notes. One thing that came to my mind was when I was at the University of Pennsylvania, I was in the library, I was reading scripts of Liberia and the effect that media had on their long-term, on the effect on broadcasting and media and communication, and how it affected Liberia. So how can we as a room of people affect the type of media that is being broadcasted to people, and how can we start shifting that to more educational media? Yeah, that's I guess that's what I'm trying to say. I hope all of you could understand what I'm trying to explain.
Does anybody on the panel want to tackle that one?
Sure.
All right.
I think that's a great question. We see the power of media in our society, in our country, and oftentimes we're lucky enough to be able to enlighten some of the media to not only give us time and capture the essence of what the message is and do it in a powerful way to get people's attention, but also I think the answer is not just getting more media that are more willing to delve into some of these social issues and personal, stories of empowerment and so forth. So it's getting the media to come out to our place, which usually, sometimes it's great. The media will consider what is media worthy or not. And a lot of times it's after they're attracted because there are certain politicians there. Susan Davis, you're fantastic. And I know you get flocked by plenty of media, so you just need to come over to our place more often, number one. She's been a great supporter, Congresswoman Davis has, for years. And thank you so much for paying attention to who your constituents are and not pretending that they're not there. Because there are plenty that do that so that they don't have to allocate dollars. So we need more help for bringing the media over to start then changing the preconceptions of the American public about different cultures and all kinds of things. So that's kind of what we need to do. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to the second question. You can say.
Actually, I didn't have a question. I wanted to comment on the media. I think also we need to take the opportunity to understand we create the media now. You have the ability with the internet to create your own media. The real or the broadcast media will come to you if you can create your own message more powerful. When I opened my restaurant, everybody asked, how did you get every news station at your place? I didn't do anything. I didn't pay for, I was on the front page of the newspaper, didn't pay for one advertisement. What it was the word of mouth of what we were doing, and people wrote about it, and then we actually wrote about what we were going to do. And when we put it out in the web space, you have the ability now to create, everything can go viral. And because it can go viral, that means you don't really depend on the traditional outlets to tell your message. Because what will happen is if your message is powerful enough virally, they're going to come to you. So you need to start speaking your turn.
So to frame opportunity, there's paid, owned, and earned media. And we're talking about democratizing the message. Stories are data with emotion. Everybody in here connected with some of the stories you heard because it was not just data. So it's our time to elevate the conversation around diversity, equity, and inclusion with good stories that tell a powerful and compelling narrative that's going to get more people aware and then into the action phase. We have two more questions. Holy moly, all righty.
Couple up here.
There's one in the back here. Go ahead. She was waving crazily. It's got to be serious.
Good morning. Thank you very much. My name is Elena Cruz. I'm the director of the Microenterprise Program for La Maestra. One thing we have to think about, we're hearing the empowerment and things, but we have to think that times have brought the world to our doors. The help and everything, there is help needed everywhere. I worked in Africa. I saw the need, but now times have brought them to our door, and now we have to take care of our backyards. And this is what La Maestra is doing through our microenterprise program. We bring the refugees, and we have to now give them what we all want, why are we here? To live a dignified life. So if we bring them, we don't give them the training, we don't help them to get ahead, then what have we done? We haven't done anything. So through La Maestra's microcredit program, we help them go from an informal economy to a formal economy. We help them bring their businesses to where it really and truly is a business. This is the stage where we're at right now. And that's why we're asking for your help. Support La Maestra's microcredit program, because we in turn will help everyone become a member of the society. Thank you.
One more question over there, and we'll get all of us, but we'll have to do it intermittently because there's no way we'll just completely get derailed.
We have time throughout the day.
Exactly. Please go ahead.
Thank you for picking my question. My name is Angela Booker, and I thank you for the whole event today and your panel. I'm teaching a course right now called Democracy, New Media, and Youth, and the students are really challenged in the course to think about their personal ambitions and the things they care about and their integrity in relation to how they connect with social and institutional systems. And I see that across all of your work, and yet I see you at a very advanced place in having developed the places where you do your work, the people you collaborate with. You have an advanced kind of system. And when I talk to my undergraduate students, I see them sort of putting off the possibility of stepping up to peace building or stepping up to the kind of work that La Maestra does or Amachi Labs does, because they think they need a lot more before they could ever begin. And so I'm wondering if you could speak to people who want to begin and connect their passions with this kind of work at a time in their lives when they're thinking about maybe, well, I have to go get an MBA and then I have to go get this job and like kind of wait 20 years before I could really do what I think is important. And they have school loans.
Go ahead, Karen.
I actually think that young people, millennials in particular, those born between 1980 and 2000 is the technical definition of millennials, are anxious to find those. And I, in fact, teach a course on social entrepreneurship. I had students from Tecnológico de Monterrey come this summer. And we worked from the foundation of envisioning a social enterprise that they could create, that they could bring back to their communities in Mexico. And I think just giving them the basic tools and understanding the possibilities, I do think that a difference is millennials think that the whole world represents opportunities for them. And that if you give them even the most basic tools to think about doing it, and whether it's going to La Maestra and doing volunteer work or creating communities among themselves, they are so anxious to do that. I think many of us of older generations, we do volunteer work, but the millennial generation, they believe that they can change the world. So just give them some fundamentals to do it. You don't need to give them an entire MBA course. Just give them the belief that they can do it and help them with the few tools, and I think they will go ahead and make amazing things happen. And they should participate in the Social Innovation Challenge at USD, which Grace Michael is right there, who runs the Center for Peace and Commerce, and be part of that and have a platform and a voice for doing that as well. It's an incredible opportunity, and there's lots of training with that as well. So connect with Grace.
Okay, this is going to be the last question, sorry, and we're going to give it to a little bird told me he came all the way from DC, so I think that merits a question.
Hi, Chris McRae. I had a question particularly for Bhavani. You had very high technology going on in your university, pretty rural, deep stuff going on the ground. Is there sort of mobile or satellite technology that can help, how does that connect in with what you do, and could that also connect youth hubs and other sort of action networks around the world?
So actually, yeah, so part of which I could not really show over here is we built a portal that connects the learners to the emerging markets, to employers, and to mentors. And the same thing can be translated to any learning community. I mean, it takes MOOCs one step beyond. If you take like MOOCs and you put it into Facebook and you put LinkedIn along with it and Udemy, that's kind of the thing tool that we have created, and we do our extensive monitoring with that tool. You don't have to rely entirely on internet technology, on internet, so to speak, because like in India, not in all the villages do you have full connectivity. So we have a way where we can actually store the data, and whenever you connect to the net, it just uploads everything, so you can gather out all that information. But in a place like the US, it's very easy to deploy something like that. We use technology very extensively. You can't scale in India without using technology.
You guys, thank you. Could you sense every time we were pinching them on time, they're like, what? Really? You're kidding me? There's so much energy and passion and purpose to be shared, but we're going to move on. Thank you all so much for your great work and sharing your work with us.